we've all been waiting for. It's the battle for the borough between the Leigh Leopards and your Wigan Warriors. Warriors fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions around the world who wish they could be here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Wow! And listen to this. Well, on the first weekend of the season, the sky is the limit for everyone. And I tell you, that has taken it to the very peak, hasn't it? If you weren't tingling in anticipation before, you should be now. This is going to be wonderful. The adventure begins again, a season that will feature the bright lights of Vegas and finish under the floodlights of Old Trafford, with so many twists and turns to thrill us on the way. That trip to Las Vegas now only about 3 weeks away, and a little bit of a taste of what to expect on that night. And it feels special tonight, Kyle Abel.
Yeah, it sure does. Good evening to you, Dave, and everyone at home as well. Rugby League is back, and where else would you rather be than here on Thursday night? I can't wait. What an entrance that the players had entering the field. And we are just moments away from season 2025.
Well, 2025 will be ferocious and fabulous, we know that. It starts as it finished, the champions taking centre stage with dreams of a grand final hat-trick. But Leigh have lofty ambitions of their own, and who knows, maybe the Leopards roar louder than the rest this year. We shall see. It's a local affair with national significance. The Battle of the Borough. We've seen a parade before the game of ex-players of both Wigan, the Wigan Warriors and the Leigh Leopards as well, and Wigan Athletic as well, the 3 professional sports teams in this borough. But now it is a focus on today's stars, the men who will razzle and dazzle in 2025. We're waiting for the smoke to clear, and then Liam Moore will get us underway. What are the expectations from you, Kyle Abel?
Yeah, well, look, I think, you know, the bookies have got Wigan Warriors as favourites, and perhaps rightly so, but for Adrian Lamb, you know, 5 new players here arriving, David Armstrong and company, all trying to impose themselves into this side for Leigh Leopards. You know, the loss of Asiata, Kai O'Donnell, Tom Moore, and Ricky Latelli as well, you could throw in there. You just wonder whether Leopards are going to have enough here to get over the champions.
Well, a potential of a record-breaking crowd here tonight. There's somebody out there at the moment counting all the legs and then dividing by 2, and then we'll know how many are here. But that's for later. Let's just settle back and enjoy what is going to be a frantic start, we would think. Well, there are those ex-players, some famous names and famous faces in amongst them. You might not recognise all. The years have passed bewilderingly quickly for some. But now we are underway, 2025, with a boom and a bang. Gets underway, and it's Wigan who have first touch of the ball and a chance to try and build from deep inside their own half, and Leigh looking to keep them pinned here. Wigan, of course, in the cherry and white as Liam Byrne spins in, and up to dummy half goes Cruz Leeming, and Junior Nsemba, one of the eye-catching players of last year, looking to build on that big reputation.
Yeah, he had a stellar campaign, didn't December. There's Cade Ellis as well, another one of those strong, consistent performers for Matty Pete. He just takes us to sort of 5 metres away. And this will be tackle 4. Thompson with his second carry, well met there as well.
Rattling it in, as we heard from the gang beforehand. 5 debutants for Leigh tonight, but very much a settled Wigan 17. The kick downfield from Smith is taken by Armstrong, and first glimpse of David Armstrong as well, who runs it back. And he's well met by those Wigan players who may not know him personally just at the moment, but will know him by reputation.
Yeah, well positioned there. David Armstrong, just knowing that that boot of Harry Smith so often cages into that bottom left-hand corner. And Armstrong there just to collect and return it back to the centre of the field.
This is Charnley, who willingly has that left leg very heavily bandaged in this first game of the season. But a chance for Leigh to try and express themselves. One of those new faces, Ethan O'Neill, son of Julian, who played for both Wigan and Leigh some years ago now. Dwyer's having a little look around at dummy half, knowing that this will be the last play for his side in this set. Little duck from Liu, and then the kick downfield from Lachlan Lamb, and underneath it and catching safely is Eckersley. And again, it's a very rigid and efficient Leigh defensive line that beats him.
Yeah, decent defensive set there from the Warriors. Just asking in Lachlan Lamb to kick the ball 35 metres away from his own end, and this is the net result. Play 3, and Liam Marshall takes a hard carry, just pinches her at 8 or so metres.
Striding inside that Leigh half, and Wigan with tackles in the bag here to try and turn this into an even greater advantage if they can. Farrell spinning around, but grasped at by Leigh defenders, taken in by Holton, and now it comes back towards the middle again for Wigan, and Byrne, who's taken them within the best view they've had so far of that Leigh line, with one play to go. Smith sticks it high. Underneath it is Brand, who's dragged back into the in-goal area. Wigan's defence on top and forcing the dropout underneath the sticks.
It's that combination, Harry Smith's kick, and then Liam Marshall just waits patiently. When Keenan Brand takes that ball, he just has enough to usher him over and force 6 more.
So a dropout underneath the sticks, and another wave of Wigan attack you'd anticipate here in these early stages. Matty Pete watching on his 100th game in charge. What a winning run he's had in terms of big competition. They've gone for the short dropout, it's bounced, and Wigan have it back. There's a change in the rules here that affects the short dropout, but it's Wigan who have it at the moment, and it is Bevan French, and he's dragged down 5 away. Danger signs here for Leigh. The red lights are flashing in defence because Wigan have a prime position to attack from now. Taken in by Byrne again. Just trying to force that big body of his ever closer. Leeming, looking right. Thompson, driving it in, but well held up by those Leigh defenders. Muscle met by muscle. Leeming again, spins it back left. Smith now. This is French. French on, and a push for Wardle, and Wardle's lost the ball as he tried to get over the line, and Leigh's defence congratulates itself, and rightly so.
Oh, super defence there from the Leopards, and it had to be. We've seen so many times the footwork of Wardle, the strength and the ability to find a space for a try. But they do ever so well, that right edge. Keenan Brand just forces him over the sideline and drops the ball in doing so. A sigh of relief for the Leopards.
Well, the short dropout now, if it doesn't come off, if it remains short or it goes out of play, then it's the opposition going to play the ball rather than a penalty. The idea is it encourages teams to take more of a gamble. There you can see they took that gamble. It could have paid off, but it didn't quite. And of course, we've got the captain's challenge. All the fun of the captain's challenge, Kyle.
Yeah, plenty.
Looking forward to that, are you?
Yeah, sure am.
We'll explain that as and when it happens. This is Holton. 2 tackles in, and Leigh are just clearing a little bit of distance between themselves and their own line at the moment. Isaac Liu, one of those new faces, again gets up and plays it, and Dwyer goes out of dummy half, and it's taken on again by Mulhern. Back towards the centre. Liu once more. Adrian Lamb looking on. Former Wigan coach, of course, former Wigan player. Big kick high in the field. Taken down by Jayfield, who's got Eckersley in support, but decides to take them on herself. Well, there we had a stat for you for most of last season, because every game that Wigan scored first in last year, 19 of them, as you can see, they won the game. Leigh have got a pretty good advantage in that respect as well, but Scoring early tends to suit Wigan. Marshall spinning. It's another couple of yards away from that as well. Leeming out of dummy half. He wants to take them on and finds the halfway line, and Smith now will just gallop up to dummy half once more. Byrne now thundering forward, hammers it in. He's going to be important to Wigan, isn't he, in the absence of Ethan Havard, with that long-term injury that he's got?
Yeah, he certainly is. A big carry just allows Harry Smith just to pick this kick. And this is the cycle that the Warriors go through. Look at the chase. Every single one of them almost in there. And just really just restricts the metres of Leigh and just puts them under the cosh.
There is a commitment to defence that Wigan wear like a badge of honour. If they do not concede a try in the next 2 minutes, it will be fully 6 hours since they last conceded a try against Super League opposition.
Yeah, they pretty much suffocated every single team that came before them in the playoff series, and of course in the grand final, that 9-2 win over Hull KR.
Here's Charlie. Dwyer stands and waits, delivering back towards the middle again, and Mulhern, who had a super season last year, just carrying another couple of yards on again.
Oh, I think he might have spilled that ball, did he?
Referee sees it as a clean pickup, and it's just hammered downfield by O'Brien and caught safely by Field again, who's met by those chasing Leigh defenders. A Wigan start midway inside their own half. Marshall skipping forward again. Harry Smith just marching into dummy half.
He almost loses that ball. Referee Liam Moore just decides that there was nothing in that.
Here's Leeming, has a look up, counting the numbers right and left. Which way's he going to go? To Farrell, and Farrell now just takes on and challenges that Leigh defensive line and takes his side just a step or two inside enemy territory. Ellis now to Unsemba, who came on at speed and at the angle, but he was well met. Ethan O'Neill got down low, made that tackle a good one. One play to go. Leeming left, Smith puts it high. Armstrong's got plenty of time to ponder what's coming next as he takes the tackle and tries to run it clean. But Wigan are there in defence once more and just absolutely suffocating Leigh at the moment.
Yeah, we saw the last end to the 3 sets them do exactly the same thing. Just trap Armstrong into that corner and then just present a wall of cherry and white. And they really are struggling to find ground of the Leopards.
Spun away by O'Brien, left it goes again, trying to find a way through. Wigan hanging on.
It's a decent carry there from Tessie New.
That is a landmark reach, by the way. It is now 6 hours since Wigan last conceded a try. Joe Burgess back on the 6th of September in the 49th minute of the match against Hull Kingston Rovers. But Wigan then nilled Leeds and Salford and Leigh and only conceded 2, as you said, in the grand final against Hull Kingston Rovers. They did, as a caveat to that, concede 2 tries against Championship club Sheffield in the Challenge Cup last week. I'm sure Sheffield fans are throwing things at the tally that's not been acknowledged, but against Super League opposition, they have been pincer line. Field slips.
Well, he almost saw a gap to Jay Field, but it was the field underneath him that let him down as he slipped. And Liam Marshall, 27 tries last year, Dave. And no doubt he'll look to get his tally up and running tonight if he can.
It's a little untidy, the legs of Hanley getting in the way, but Wigan eventually allowed to play on. Still looking for a major break here, haven't we? We've just seen Wigan just controlling the game. And there's Unsemba threatening to run over the top of anyone who gets in his way. Gareth O'Brien was the poor victim of that one. Smith goes out of dummy half, and here comes Field again. They've got a couple of numbers here, but Leigh closed things down, and Brand comes over the top to complete the tackle. Now it's with Wardle. Last play. Smith again. Sends it high, end over end it's spinning. It's a difficult one. Charlie's up there, brilliant take, hands above the head, no nonsense, wonderful stuff, and giving his side possession back again.
A super take there from Josh Charnley. Of course, he played 173 games here for Wigan. And now, where's the colour of the Leopards? Just take a look at this leap. All eyes on the prize, and collects it in there so well.
This is Charnley again, bringing that ball forward on the cusp of something special. Of course, 2 tries away from taking him to, what is it, 250 in the Super League.
Great tackle there from Harry Smith.
Is Dwyer taken on again by the tireless Mulhern, or tireless at the moment anyway, still keeps carting it forward with one play to go. Lamb is standing deep here to get that kick in as much of a comfortable position as he can. Lee's across to catch it and claim it, the youngster. He'll run it back, and Wigan again starting about 12 away from that halfway line, so they're just edging the arm wrestle at the moment.
Yeah, just like the work that Cruz Lehman showed in the last couple of sets on that last play defensively, just really trying to work extra hard to put Lachlan Lamb under pressure.
It's a long time since Leigh won in this town, by the way. Have to go back to 1983, a Slalom Lager Championship game, the last time they won at Wigan. There's not many around who still remember those sponsors, never mind that game. Harvey Smith having some running repairs. Wigan carry on without him. Here's Cade Ellis, challenging again that Leigh defensive line that is up to the task. And they've resisted to the point of the 30-metre mark, at which part of the field Wigan have to kick. And it's taken safely enough by Keenan Brand again. But Leigh with another hard task here. 10 from their own line, 12 from their own line. Have to carry that ball as far clear as they possibly can.
Yeah, 12 minutes gone. It's deja vu for the Leopards. It's 5 sets, I think I've counted, where they've had to start from inside their right channel. And what that does, Dave, is it means that they have to waste almost 2 or 3 plays before they can get any sort of shape, like now as Lachlan Lamb just tries to bring it on to Frankie Holton, but he's well met again.
Well, how many tackles is that now? 4 tackles gone, and they're only about 25 metres away from their own line. And this is going to be exhausting stuff. That's a good offload there from Mulhern, which just springs the trap a little and gives an opportunity for Armstrong to carry it deeper than he might. And on the last, the kick from O'Brien is just going to scurry and bounce into the hands of Marshall. So they've got a little bit more advantageous field position than they might have had, but only a little bit more.
Yeah, it was from the offload from Robbie Mulhern. Just saw a little glimpse there of the fullback Armstrong, his leg speed. It'd be great to watch if there's a bit of space in front of him. But he's finding no change whatsoever, really, from this Warriors defensive outfit.
Here comes Farrell again with the carry. Again, Wigan are very close to the halfway line, halfway through their set. Ellis springing it left, and now it comes further left. And here's an opportunity for a glimpse of something special as Field runs. And he gets away just from the grasp of Brand, but more defensive work coming his way, and O'Brien stops him. But Wigan again creeping closer. 2 tackles to go. French, capable of anything at that position, gets the pass out. Kieran's carrying, looking for support. Can't find a safe pass. 1 play to go. We're going to be knocking at this door. Is this the point they find a way through? Leeming comes left, puts the kick in. Chase is on by Thompson. Footwork is brilliant, but it's just bobbled away. Desperately unlucky from his point of view, and Leigh survived.
Well, we've got Mason Mount here in the crowd, and it almost have been delighted to see Thompson get over there with that wonderful footwork.
First touch was excellent, wasn't it? The second and maybe the third that just let him down. There he is, Manchester United footballer, Mason Mount, looking on. Mick Farrell alongside him, who's used to have that psychology role here at Wigan, certainly when Sean Wayne was coach. This is Liu, pass away. O'Brien lifted and down.
The Leopards are just starting to get a little bit of field position into this game at 15 minutes gone, and O'Neill just flattened onto his back.
Yeah, best position they've had for a long, long time, isn't it, this? What can they do with it? Chip over the top. Field should have it covered, and he does, but he's trapped. He's trapped, and that's a good end to the set from Leigh's point of view, and they just turn the tables a little here.
Well, they have to start getting excited down this end of the field and really go after the Warriors defensively.
Smith, taken on by Eckersley. The backs doing some of the work here, but not making too much of an impression thus far on this Leigh defensive line, with 3 gone. French looking for a little bit of magic to find a way through. But it's the straightforward defensive effort of Mulhern and his mates who makes sure that doesn't happen. Thompson with a blast. Wigan on the last, with a kick to come you'd expect here. Smith just drills it downfield, looking for distance, hoping for some dodgy handling, but it's Brand who catches safely enough and runs it back at that Wigan line, who are up quickly to keep him to a mere 30-metre point.
It's only a small detail, but I mentioned Cruz Lehman's effort to put Lachlan Lamb under pressure when he kicks the ball. Well, there's been zero kick pressure whatsoever on Harry Smith, so just keep your eye out on that.
Another heavy carry, another few yards gained here. Tessie New 5 short of the halfway line. Tongan international, signed from the Dolphins, one of the, as we said, 5 new faces on show tonight. Leigh have freshened it up quite a bit, haven't they? Lost a few and signed a few, so they might take a few weeks just to settle in. We shall see. But here comes one of the new boys, Armstrong, who's just exciting the crowd, and he's found a way through 3 defenders. But looking for Brand on the left, has found instead Jake Wardle. And Wigan are a little lucky there. Leigh were creating something special. So here's Smith. So it's a poor play the ball. Lost a bit of ground, lost a bit of momentum, and in fact the referee has, I think, pointed at Isaac Lee, I think it was, who he deemed it straight offside and didn't get back. Made the tackle, and so Wigan have the penalty here.
17 minutes gone in this contest, and we see the first penalty of the evening. And it goes in favour of the Warriors. You just see there, all the players, I think it's Brad Dwyer, well offside. There's the half chance. Wardle stretches a big right arm out and plucks the ball out of the air.
It's Byrne with a bit of a juggle as he catches and takes it inside that Leigh half.
Almost a quarter of the game gone, and perhaps it was the Leopards who had the biggest opportunity so far. And here's an Nsemba.
Pushing forward. Leeming, marshalling himself up into the position. Smith, and now Thompson, and Thompson direct, and solid hit from him, and gains another couple of yards as well in the contact, and gets up and plays the ball to give his side the advantage here. Ellis with a short pass. Lamb had closed down the options of going wider with his move out of that defensive line, but Wigan are still well positioned here. Smith again, now it's with French. French hooks it back. Wardle gathered in by winning Leigh defenders. 1 play to go. Marshall back on the inside, Smith with a kick. Now who's going to challenge for this the best? The arms go up, it bounces back for Charnley. And Leigh survive again and are in danger of conceding the drop back because of the determination of that Wigan defence. But the referee had already called held, so Leigh gets to play the ball. 10 from their own line on the handover.
Yeah, the kick goes up into contest there between Adam Kieran and Tessie New. It's deemed to have gone forward. It was brilliant work from the Warriors to drive Charnley back over, but the error was made just moments earlier.
There was a knock-on, wasn't it? As you say. More voices made to be heard again from both sets of supporters here, but Leigh fans especially finding their noise at the moment. Leigh the more satisfied here because they have been under the pump for a lot of the game, and yet they're intact and they look to be coming out of it reasonably refreshed.
Yeah, they certainly do. Particularly the right edge, Dave, have answered everything that Wigan have thrown at them so far. Lou, a good carry there, just edges closer towards the halfway line. It's tackle 5. And Lamb down this short side. Just tries to lift the boot over, and it's swallowed up there by Bevan French.
The ricochets all over, but it falls Wigan's way, and Farrell stands and waits. Here's Eckersley. Interchange of the night as well. Tyler Dupree has come on, and Liam Byrne is the man who's gone off. No long play, 20 minutes, that will be planned. So a fresh impetus to this Wigan middle here, provided by Tyler Dupree with his first carry of the night. First carry of the season. Leeming goes right, French was waiting, offers it inside to Farrell. Farrell back on the familiar diagonal run. Finding his front, but finding himself and his team on the 5th tackle. So 1 to go. They're going to try and go through hands and keep it alive, and Leeming bowls it back, and Smith now eventually is forced to kick. It's not a bad one either. Brand's underneath it, nobody there to pressure him, so he can run it away, and away from Dupree. And Wigan recover in defence just about. He's dragged down by French. Tessignew's taking it wider still.
Yeah, he's looked a handful, Tessinew, on that left edge of the field. Charnley, yet to see that left edge of Lachlan Lamb orchestrating it in 2025. We haven't really had any opportunity down there at the Wigan Warriors try line.
Here's O'Neill with a carry. By the way, Edwin Ipape is on the field, and there he is out of dummy half, and that's what he does. Immediately adding a bit of a spark. Had a shoulder operation in the close season. He was a bit of a gamble to be played today. 50-50, his coach was saying earlier in the week, but see what kind of an impact he can have. Oh, that's a juggle by Eccleston. Taken in. It's French.
Oh, good line speed there from Halton. That's what I was talking about earlier. You have to be able to flip your mindset and up the intensity in this part of the field, and not allow Marshall to slip through the net.
Well, I was going to say that Leigh were beginning to turn a screw here, putting pressure on Wigan, but that little run from Marshall has just lifted the pressure a little. Field. Here's Wardle being escorted towards the touchline, but he has kept it alive, and it's bounced fortuitously for Field to collect.
Oh, he does incredibly well there. There's Wardle. Cade Ellis now moving the ball through to Dylan Dupree.
Dupree having a rumble with the spirit of the night.
Just look at that offload there, just moments away from being the ball turned over. Harry Smith with a high kick. It's going to bounce.
Could bounce anywhere. It's fortunate for Armstrong. Soft catch for him in the end. And Leigh start again from deep. It is like watching a repeat of that grand final last year, isn't it?
Almost, yeah.
There's not a lot flash so far, but 2 defences working very hard.
I think it's the Leopards who are just draining their own energy tank, if you like, as they're defending in the more difficult part of the field. Anything towards that final third near your own line becomes increasingly difficult. And here's Armstrong on the ball once more, trying to find some space. There's nothing there.
Armstrong closed down, shut down, put down. Ipape, a bit slow at the play the ball for him to think about running out of dummy half. This now is O'Neill. Again, they've reached the last. 1 play to go here. Ipape. Brian under real pressure there from Wardle, gets the kick away. Field on the catch. There are defenders advancing towards him, and Mulhern's not going to give up. And Wigan start right in front of their own sticks. Dangerous territory again. Marshall. 11 tackle bursts from Wigan, 7 from Leigh.
I think that's the biggest stat though, Dave. The play the balls in the opposition 20. Leigh coming up with none so far. And that's just largely down to the way that this game is being played, predominantly with our heads turned to the left as you see the screen.
Leaning, spinning it out. French is going to kick. Chases on into the hands of Armstrong.
It's a better defensive set from the Leopards. Big contact there as well from French, chasing his own kick.
Well, they start 10 metres away from the halfway line here, Leigh. What can they do from here to try and turn this more their way? Tessinew. Big carry again. Ipape. Here's Liu. Ipape having a look left and right. Adrian Lamb just changing his position lately. Hughes. Relatively fresh from the bench is Jack Hughes. Here's Ipape once more. Lamb again has gone running quickly across that left-hand side. It's a bit of a foil, and Ipape trying to get the pass away. It's picked up though by Field, and Wigan clear their lines. But that was a little moment of danger that Leigh were conjuring.
Yeah, the late swing from Lachlan Lamb, the marker's just switched off, and Pape pokes his nose through, tries to promote the ball. And if that pass had come off, it'd have been Leigh under the posts.
We have some fantastic memories of Edwin Pape as both scorer and creator from the last couple of years. Smith. It's Farrell. Dragged down, put down. Again, need to conjure something from a kick here because Wigan have reached the end of the set. So Smith looking for the touchline, and looks a pretty good kick in that respect. Puts it out of play, slows things down a little, and Leigh will have it back, but again encamped very much inside their own 10.
Yeah, but nothing separating them on the scoreboard, Dave, and that's probably the most pleasing thing for Adrian Lamb. You just see a little bit of blood pour down the left eyebrow of Harry Smith. A wonderful kick over the top, and just finds the sideline just to take a little bit of sting out the game.
Is this a game we expected, Kyle?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, of course the skill will increase as the pitch is firmer up, as the combinations get going, but right now it really is just almost a battle through that middle third of the field.
Alec Tuatavake is already making an impression after his arrival from the bench. And here comes Ethan O'Neill. Yeah, well over 6 hours now. We're not going to keep harping on about it, but well over 6 hours now since Wigan conceded. And talking to Matty Peake this week, he said it is something they are very proud of. They talk about it within the camp. It is their DNA, refusal to give anything away cheaply. So Leigh have got to find something special.
Yeah, the old saying, Dave, defence wins competitions and wins titles, and the Warriors are certainly showcasing that on all fronts.
It's a tight little wing. Oh, Pape!
And he's going for more.
Well, there's the shoulder, the Papua New Guinean shoulder. In it went, and boy was it felt by field. They'll try and tell you it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I love that.
Hurts.
I love the work underneath the ball. Jay Field, he bounces 2 men in, and Pape just working so hard for his team, and just rattles him with his shoulder. Cruz Leeman. Oh, he's fallen.
Well, Bevan French is claiming there was a knock-on earlier there, but the referee's having none of that. He's saying play on.
Oh, good footwork.
Tessie New with a wonderful step. But across comes the cover just in time.
Yeah, Cruz Leeman just fires that ball. It bounces in the face of French, but Halton, now this is the best chance, the best moment, the best opportunity that the Leopards have had.
Well, the Leigh fans are baying for something here, and the Wigan fans are baying in support of their defensive team. But Leigh are looking wide, Wigan are closing things down. That's a great read in defence. Wardle got up there, got in there, and made sure he's stuck. And Leigh was stopped momentarily. Hughes now tries to push on. Wardle's involved again, dragging down the legs. Picked up here by Pape. Left again now, into Lamb. Lamb puts it back to Halton. Halton comes crossing back towards the middle of the field. Looks to offload, but 2 defenders too close to make that a safe option. So this is the last for Leigh. It comes to O'Brien, who bobs one over the top, but Brand was given no chance, because Wigan's defence had him lined up and measured, and they put him to ground.
Yeah, he almost became man on man as soon as that ball gets lifted over the top. It's an incredible, difficult take to then catch and then try and find space to put down. Liam Marshall straight into the ribs of Keenan Brandon. As we just see the clock in the bottom now take us to 6.5 hours, Dave.
Well, oh, look at this. There is a real intensity to this game, isn't there? We talk about players not being quite match ready for 2 or 3 rounds when the new season dawns because of the physicality of it all. But there is an intensity to this match already.
Yeah, there certainly is. And you mentioned it, Pape's, you know, his try-scoring, his try-creating ability, but it's this side that I love about him. He's the one who often sets the tone for big contact, and it drags everybody else with him. Look how far Bevan French is having to kick that ball.
I'm going to say Bevan French forced a kick from a long way deep, and David Armstrong has made it as good as he can for Leigh by catching it on the fall and giving his side a start inside the Wigan half. They've only got 4 or 5 behind to play the ball because of the distance covered and because of the energy drained in getting back in position. But Leigh have an opportunity here.
Yeah, well, they just need to throw a little bit more at the champions, because that last set, when they had ball in hand, there wasn't really an awful lot created.
Ipape back to the middle again, the short pass to Atavaka, offloads. Has it gone backwards? Yes it has, yes it has. So Leigh survived that scary moment and get another go. Ipape having a little bit of a wander to Atavaka, will have a go himself. One to go, Ipape's in there. Where's this going? Lamb's gone to that left-hand side. Do we expect the kick? No, it's going through hands. Holton, but he's put down. Well, the consolation prize is, from Leigh's point of view, their opponents have the ball only 10 from their own line.
Yeah, it is, but you know, we just saw the run there from Tuitavaka and getting it wrong, and then it almost ends up a soft carry, and they're just not really throwing anything at the champions to trouble their defence whatsoever. We've spoken a number of times about their ability to do that. You've got to throw a little bit more at them.
Defence to the fore. Vice-like grips are not being loosened just yet, although that offload does give Wigan the chance to run with Leibig. Here's Harvey Hill. Smith dodges away from that threatening shoulder of Ipape. This is Field, looking left, but finding defenders scurrying around him, but they found some space for Wardle, who injects the pace, but is chased down and dragged down by O'Neill. When things were looking scary from Leigh's point of view, play the ball scrappy, referee says play on, advantage to Wigan, and now it goes out to French. There were numbers on that right-hand side. French comes searching back towards the middle, offloads to Leibig, brushes away one defender, Thompson gets it on, Dupree's going for the line, and he's going to be dragged down just a yard or so short. A roar of approval from the Leigh fans for the defence, and it'll get another roar now as Leibig's kick comes to naught, and Leigh have it back.
Look, sometimes defending doesn't have to be pretty, and you just have to keep finding a way of turning up, and Wigan were offloading at will. And credit to the Leigh Leopards, they found a way within 1 metre of the line to see them out.
Well, they're just throwing everything at the exit doors here, trying to get downfield. And look at that desperation in defence.
I actually think Adrian Lamb will probably be the more pleased out of the two coaches.
Tuitavaka, like we said, this has not been a happy hunting ground for Leigh down the years. 4 decades and counting since they last won a game at Wigan, but they've given themselves every chance here tonight so far. Smith, Wardle, just nibbling his way inside that Leigh half. Smith again, Hill, not really in his stride before Tuitavaka closes him down, gets in his face. Thompson crashing in and pushing. Couple to go. Leading. Here's French. This is Farrell, but he's left the ball. Loose attempt and an apology from the veteran Liam Farrell has given Leigh cheap possession back again.
Yeah, they had numbers there. A 4-on-3 down that right-hand side of the field. Bevan French just lets the ball go early. But I think with Ipape in his eye line, just coming underneath the ball there, Liam Farrell has a slight look. Just loses the ball. And the Leopards survive another set, Dave.
Well, we've got Sam Burgess with us tonight and John Wilkin alongside Brian Carney to unpick the pieces of this first half during the half-time break.
Okay, mate. Let's lock in, boys, please.
What have they seen that we may have missed up here? We shall see. Certainly not a point so far. We've not got any points on the board. 0-0.
Move! Out now!
There's Hanley. Myla Hanley, who once scored a hat-trick for Wigan against Leigh. Myla Hanley, a few years ago.
Move! Just past the line, boys. Hold!
This is Ipape.
You're good now, Luke.
Hughes. Jack Hughes taking it further, another ex-Wigan player. In the blue of Leigh, Ipape. O'Brien puts it back to Lamb. Now they're moving on that left-hand side, but not for long. Armstrong spotted and closed down by Kieran.
Well read from Kieran. Just needed the catch and pass in a quick motion from the fullback.
To Itabake.
Just needs to release it there.
One play to go. Here it comes with Lamb. Lamb jabs it up in the air. Fields underneath it. Plenty of Wigan players ahead of him to make sure that the catch was as safe as it possibly could be. And Lamb, with real determination, make sure that tackle's felt as well. Here's Eckersley. Leeming, boots flying all over the place. Marshall, dodging and pushing. 3 minutes to the break. Dangerous moments these. Minds cannot afford to switch off. Concentration needs to remain. The job's not done just yet. Smith to Hill. Puts it back to French, who dummies and carries, and Field helps it on. And here's Kieran. Rounded up by three of them. Put flat on his back.
No earlys now, Edwin. Hold. Come on, Edwin. That's really go.
Field. Smith again. There's a big spin on that. There is a big spin on that.
Great take.
But Armstrong has caught it very, very safely. Bounces off the shoulder of Thompson, but not beyond Leeming.
I've mentioned a couple of times in that first half. I think Leigh just need to work a little bit harder in terms of putting some pressure on Harry Smith, because that boot could be the difference in this game.
Josh Charnley's lost his wrapping, hasn't he? Bandages have gone. Legs warmed up for the task tonight. Here's Ipape. Just ball to shoulder and intensity of carry by Hughes. This will be the last play again, so Lamb again looking to kick to the corner to make it as difficult as possible for Field to find a way out, and he can't find a way out. Probably Wigan's last set in this first half, with time ticking down. Leigh might get one more go.
Back Edwin with me. Hold Ethan. Hold. Go two.
Leeming. Marshall.
Third. Move, red line boys. Go third.
Leeming again. Hill's there as a willing runner. Smith up to the line, and Farrell threatening to break. But defensive duties done well by Lamb. Hill once more. Thinks about the pass, then decides to take them on. Tuatavaki is the ultimate roadblock. And on the last, French will chip towards the corner. Little delicate effort by him, which Charnley gets across to try and turn into something special with less than a minute of the half to play.
Yeah, both sides completing at nearly 90%, Dave, so there's going to be a lot of tired bodies out there for sure. But the score remains 0-0. There's 43 seconds left on the clock, and Leigh are going to have to strike from within deep if they're going to get anything out of this. I don't think they will do that.
Third. Move, Cruz. Hold, line will do. Liam, hold. Hold. Go first.
Ipape. Plenty of road to travel here for Leigh if they are going to score in the final 20 seconds. But they'll have a go. Here's Liu.
Let go.
Now it'll be the last play. Ipape picks up and hammers it downfield, so Wigan will get it back for one last go.
It's a poor kick.
Marshall looking to step inside and then out, and gets a pass away here for Wardle, and Wardle can't get beyond the two who come his way. Well, that is the opening half of the 2025 season. A fine example of defence from both sides. We will see some more sparkling action than that in the year to come.
As Harry Smith looks us to get this second half underway.
Well, it's a game in a balance. I think Leigh fans would have hoped that would have been the case at half-time in this match when they were coming here tonight, and their confidence as supporters of their side will have grown immeasurably, I'm sure. And they have got an early penalty as well here. We've not seen a captain's challenge so far.
Stolen.
We're going to see one now. Liam Farrell?
Challenge.
Oh, yes,
Farrell,
yes, there we go. Bang on cue. So captain's challenge.
Off. Jack, we have a captain's challenge. Wigan are challenging the ruling of a ball steal.
So here comes the video.
On tackle
referee.
one, Wigan are challenging the ruling of a ball steal. Our best angle, please, of the ball.
Jack Smith is our video referee.
Oh, that, keep going slow. Oh, on that, we need something from behind it, I think, to see when the ball comes out. Can't see it on that. This one will be our best angle, I think.
Yes, mate, yeah.
Let's go through on this.
They're looking for a potential ball steal challenge here. That's
Go
what
until we can see the ball. Right, go back, I can see a hand there. Right, that's Adam Kieran's hand on the ball. And you can see the fingers, the flicking and a reefing action. The challenge is unsuccessful.
Thank you, Jack. Let me know when back on screen.
So, there we go, bit of history. First captain's challenge in the Super League. Decision pending. And challenge unsuccessful. So Wigan now lose. They do not have... You only get one challenge per game. And they've used it. That's it now.
Remaining.
If the referee... We heard Liam Farrell, you might have heard in the background, he said, what happens if he can't see it? Well, if it is inconclusive evidence, and that's the way the video referee goes, then they do retain their challenge. But Wigan have just blown theirs. They've not got any left. Leigh have still won captain's challenge, including tries as well. They can challenge tries if the referee doesn't go for the video referee himself.
Yeah, but a silly call there by the centre, Adam Kieran, to question Liam Farrell to challenge that. 30 seconds on the clock, there's no fatigue there. And he must have known that he pulled that his left arm and dislodged that ball, but Wigan, of course, you're right, they lose the challenge, and Leigh just edge over and cross over into Wigan's half now.
It's like a Christmas present they'd forgotten to open, wasn't it? They suddenly got excited and used it and blown it. So Leigh have possession and a chance to build here. We talk about substitutes. Matt Davis on the field. First time we've seen him tonight. He was vigorously warming up at half-time on the field. Well, he's out there and looking to have some impact on the game. With Pape on the last. And out it comes towards O'Brien, who puts that little grubber kick in, and the bounce is awkward, but Field, I think it is, who's just got there ahead of Lamb. And Wigan have possession again, but very close to their own line here.
Decent work there from Luke Thompson as well. David Armstrong just pushing up through the middle of the field for that kick. He just keeps his legs moving. Make sure Armstrong can't get to that ball. Zach Eckersley now tasked with carrying the ball away from the Warriors line.
Goal 3.
This is Pape. Carry in by Kieran. Every yard is really hard-earned tonight, isn't it? Both sets of defences, both absolutely on their game. And on the last, Smith is forced to kick. He's behind the 30-metre mark, but he just hammers it down the middle. It's a question of distance. Tessignew catches on the bounce. His footwork is causing one or two initial problems, but Wigan's defence closes in eventually.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Tessignew so far in this game. Had a couple of nice touches early on and some power behind his carry as well.
Former Broncos man, former Dolphins man, of course, Tessignew. Relatively youngster as well, isn't he? He's only 23 years of age, I think, Tessignew, so good to see some good Antipodeans coming north at a relatively young age.
Up now. Hold.
A couple of plays to go.
No, hold him in. Don't hold him in.
Pape lining up.
Don't hold him in.
Liu is very slow to his feet. Lamb pops it back for Holton to have a go. Hill grabs a hold of him.
Hold.
And with one play to go, Leigh find themselves 30 metres out. Back it comes to Lamb with a level of inevitability, putting it high in the air. Eckersley juggles it but backwards. Escapes the embarrassment and keeps possession. That was nervy.
It sure was. Just tries to pull it in and bounces off his chest, but fortunately for him, he is facing backwards.
This is Bevan French acting out a dummy half, and Wigan just trying to blast their way out of trouble, with Wardle lending his weight to the situation. And talking about blasting, and Semba, well, somebody grabbed his legs, but he still had the impact to knock Gareth O'Brien over.
Well, that's O'Brien and O'Neill. He skittled in this game, but they do well enough to have enough bodies in and around him. Doesn't advance much further forward, but
he's got bigger, hasn't he?
He sure has. He's absolutely massive.
Smith with a kick. That's nicely angled. That's a super kick. The bounce gives Armstrong the opportunity to run it back, but the length of time it took there meant that Wigan's defensive line was up, and Armstrong's options cut down to a mere couple of yards forward and then stopped. Wigan trying to push hard again. Ipape throwing away, and Semba, get away, young fella.
Oh.
The pass is not good. Maybe his mind was occupied with what had gone on before. This is Lamb. Having a look what's inside. Holton is the man who's going to lead the charge. Wigan's defence pincer-like again, just three wrapped around, all in the right places. Slowing his movements, preventing the offload. Now it's with Tuatavaki. Just inside the Wigan half of things, but with only one play to go. This is O'Brien. A little bit of pressure provided by Leeming. Marshall underneath it. Safe pair of hands. Collects and runs, but goes no further. Well, it's the pattern of the game remains the same. Two defences very much on top, doing their jobs extremely well, and the attacking flair has been suffocated so far.
Yeah, Sam Burgess pitchside called it, didn't he? He just said that both coaches would like to keep exactly what they've been doing, stick to the game plan. And as we've mentioned there, given the high nature of these completion sets up into the 90% mark, that it will be space, Dave. I don't think he can keep this early in the season. I don't think we can keep this intensity up.
I wonder if it's going to be a one-try wins it kind of a game, or whether we do see that outbreak of open play as the match wears on and fatigue sets in. Well, there's an offload that creates a bit of excitement. And Nsemba, you can hear the noise around the stadium, just caused by the simple fact he was carrying the ball. French, little chip over the top, chasing it hard, but he can't get on the end of that Leeming kick.
That's brilliant bravery there from the fullback. Pevin French chasing down on it. He just manages to keep his eye and scoop that ball up. We get another look here.
Yeah.
That's brave, that.
The coach will be greatly encouraged to have seen that. Little test of character passed with flying colours.
Luke, go third.
There's other parts of his game, which you were expecting to catch the eye as the season rolls on, but that's a fundamental.
Oh, that's nice.
Step back on the inside here for O'Neill, who comes searching and finds a shoulder and a full stop. Again, they're on the last. Pape scoops the ball high. Field has to scamper a few yards to catch it. Lee fans in his ear, trying to put him off that moment, but having caught it, he's looking to set things going, but O'Brien's across there to stop it before it starts.
Yeah, decent chase. The Leopards aren't letting up at all. The kick from Pape, and the chase was just there. So Field, he looks to try and always find half a gap, and there was nothing coming. Cruz Leeming now tries to take off, beats one.
Well, he knew the man ahead of him wasn't square. He heard that from the referee, so he was trying to use that to his advantage, but the advantage is minimised. Farrell, late step off the right foot, but into the arms of Holton. Some knowledge and experience in that bald head, isn't it? Here comes a chance for Wigan to express. Field with a dummy, close down. Keenan Brand made the right move. Field probably the wrong one.
Yeah, I think he's bombed a try there for sure. Credit Keenan Brand, but Jay Field, and that's a horrible end to the set. That's a tick in the box there for the Leopards. Jay Field has to let this ball go, he really does, Dave. We'll take nothing away from the right winger. You just see here, as soon as Field gets it, he has to let that ball go. He's got Wardle, one of the best centres in the competition, outside him. Well, he decides to go for glory.
We've praised Wigan's defence endlessly tonight, haven't we? But Lee are right up there, matching them on the night tonight. Technically, both sides very near perfection when they don't have the ball. Frustrated because of that from the opposition when they do. And Lee again trying to advance yard by yard. Lamb to Holton.
Third. Move, kid.
It's a familiar path that Leigh ploughed last year, didn't they? Down that left-hand side.
Certainly was.
There's Davis.
Move, Tyler, don't look up.
Pepe wanders up there. Gets in position, comes left. This is Leo. One play to go again. No breaches so far. No breaches threatened so far. Lamb sticks it high. Field underneath it. Again, the catch is good, as you'd expect. Eckersley to run it back, and was he taken home? No, he wasn't. There's been a startling lack of penalties in this game tonight, hasn't there?
Only 2 in the whole game, 1 each side.
Marshall runs one way, carried back the other.
It's terrific defence again from the Leopards. Wardle, a little bit of footwork there, just finds half a gap. A quick play of the ball here. Cade Ellis now, ball playing through the middle of the field.
This is French onto Field, and Field now finds Kieran, and Kieran steps against the grain of the defence, but it doesn't give. Between them, Hughes and Lamb hold strong, and Kieran's hurt as well. Leeming now to Ellis. Straightforward, direct route for him. But again, they hit the last, and again, they find themselves a long, long way from where they want to be. So again, it's going to be a boot that tries to create an advantage. It's a sliced high, that one. It's not got depth, but it has given a problem for Leigh. Well, it gave Marshall and others a chance to challenge, and it caused a problem there for Keenan Brand, and it has given Wigan possession inside the Leigh 30.
Yeah, it has, but Harry Smith had an eternity of time. Yes, he doesn't catch it cleanly, but he's got far too much time to put that kick where he wants. And Keenan Brand, he just can't take it in under pressure from Marshall. And they're going to get the ball 25 metres away, centre field. And when you've got the pace and the quality that we've seen so many times here, and keep your eyes out on Jay Field and Bevan French. Is this the moment?
Well, there is a rising level of expectation from the Wigan fans, but Leigh's defence has been watertight, and they'll need something similar now. Defence is all about bending your back. Driven in by Dupree. Leeming out. Thompson goes rattling forward, and Leigh's defence responds. Good pushback on him. Leeming stands and waits. Smith with a dummy, can't find the route back on the inside. Tuatabaki had that covered. So we're going to have to start again. Leeming, Ellis, Thompson again trying to bustle, trying to use that weight, that determination, but matched again by the team in defence. French now with a kick. Farrell's chasing. Was he obstructed by Hughes? The referee, I think, has seen that, and it is a yellow card. Oh, it's for Liam Farrell.
Well, they've lost the challenge.
Away.
Yeah, they've lost the challenge as well, Dave.
Yeah.
So they can't contest it. And Liam Farrell, it looked like from up here that Jack Hughes had perhaps made a play to escort Farrell, off the ball. Farrell takes exception to it and feels that he should have surely been in for a try. Yeah, he does as well. Liam Farrell is well within his rights to be aggrieved, but however, he cannot kick the ball away.
Yeah, under the new rules, had they still got the challenge, they could have challenged that whole decision. Potential penalty try, that's maybe stretching it, but certainly penalty. But instead, it's Wigan who are down to 12 for the next 10 minutes. Liam Farrell has to rue that on the touchlines. And Leigh, having survived that wave of attack, now have an opportunity to go the other way, but it has been lost in the tackle. And listen to the roar now, as Field takes it on. Brilliant, absolutely stunning. Jay Field underneath the sticks. It's the first try of the new Super League season, and in the final reckoning in October, it may well be one of the best. But we're going for the video referee.
Jack, can we review how the ball comes at the tackle, please?
Kicking up here, Lamb Smith. See it for the video referee. Well, let's watch all of this as well.
It's a 0 tackle. We've got a try on field. We're just checking how the ball comes out here. There's 2 in the tackle here. Marshall is on the ball. The back of the ball is off screen. Yep. Marshall is on the ball. There's 2 in the tackle. Right, this angle's good. The one that's on air now. With Marshall. Same one. And this one. Yeah, the same angle with Marshall. Let's go on this. Right, Wardle's affecting that tackle. And there is a clear reefing action from Liam Marshall on the ball. Thank you, I've made my decision.
Well, it is not going to stand. Sheffield robbed of his moment of glory. Wigan robbed of what they thought was the opening try. The video referee says no try, we reckon. How's this going to go down with the locals? It ain't going to be good. Everybody's got views, and the disappointment is confirmed, and it remains 0-0.
It's the right call though, Dave. Liam Marshall's left arm. He just takes a pull. Just there. Breaks that ball away.
Here we go, boys.
Had the ball been lost before it was reefed?
Stay behind, boys, please.
I don't think so. I think he's got it right.
Macklin. Time's off. Just relax and stuff like that. Let me deal with it.
So it remains as nervous as it was, as tense as it was. 0-0.
I get it. I'm like that as well.
And it's getting louder.
Guys.
Well, there's a game on, all right. 55 minutes almost gone on the clock. And the last couple of minutes, there are plenty of drama in there. And Leigh have got a real opportunity here. Home of the champions. Playing against 12. What have they got in this next 8 minutes? Can they make Liam Farrell's sin bin pay even more? Ipape.
Well, they're inside Wigan's territory, and they have got plenty of tackles to go. Davies had a dummy half. O'Brien puts it back. Armstrong's closed down. Just enough done to make sure he cannot affect anything there. It's back into the hands of Mulhern, who does well to offload. Davies skips away. Hunted down and dragged down by Wardle. 2 plays to go. Leigh lifted by decisions that have gone their way, as Liu takes it in again, or rather it's Tuitabake who takes it in again. This will be the last. It's back with O'Brien. O'Brien kicks towards the corner, chases on by 4, Fields underneath it, takes it well, takes it safe enough. But Leigh have done some pretty smart work there, because they're forcing Wigan to start that close to their own line, and it could get worse here.
Yeah, it's a brilliant end to the set. Just landing in that 5 metre by 5 metre box for Sheffield. But Liam Marshall there, that's a brilliant carry.
There's a job to be done, and he's done it. So many wingers of that class able to pull off that kind of play, and Marshall doing it for his team. Little scramble on the knees. It's an extra few yards, and Semba is closed down a little, slowed down a little by the pass. Toppled over by the attempt by Davies. Back it comes to Smith, who as well as it downfield. Armstrong with a catch. Looking for the return. Here we go. Has a look. Is there daylight? There might have been, but suddenly all was darkness as those big figures got in his way. Lamb. Jesse New.
A real handful. A quick play of the ball as well, and they jump off the back of it. Davies beats the first man.
Shrugs off a couple of defenders and keeps it away, and Brand takes it on again. Leigh fans in terrific voice at the moment, as well they might be. Davies again. Here's Mulhern, tireless in his pursuit of the go forward.
He's had a big game.
Davies, third player they've had in that role, that dummy half role tonight. Lamb gets the pass away. Armstrong out again. Hughes takes it on. Here's a chance where Eckersley gets across and makes the gap minuscule and makes the tackle a good one.
Patient right edge there from Wigan. They just let the play unfold in front of them, and that's brilliant double defending there from Zach Eckersley. He gets caught up on the centre and pushes off and sees Tessie New over the line. And look what it means, the players all coming in and appreciating Zach's efforts there.
By the way, not conceded a try update, 6 hours and 48 minutes I make it at the minute. Will they be breached tonight? Will either side be breached tonight? Are we going to go to golden point extra time and a golden point that wins it, 1-0? Still have that potential tonight.
Well, I don't think either coach will bemoan if they can finish this game tonight with 2 points in the bag, whether that's 1-0 or 10-0, Dave.
22 minutes remaining. 58 having been played. Wigan currently down at 12. Ellis seeking out a little bit of open play, a little bit of a running angle. Liam Farrell keeping warm on the touchline, knowing that he's still got time to play. 4 minutes before he comes back on. Armstrong. New. Oh, he's done well, and New suddenly found space in which to run, and away he goes. Smith's after him, and he's trying to steal the ball as well as make the tackle.
That's superb play there, the link-up play between Armstrong and Tessie New, and then the footwork to beat the first man and advance 40 metres down the field. A brilliant run.
There's O'Neill, who stopped. Ipape picks up and goes bouncing forward and springs into even further life. And still pushing. Leigh. They believe at the moment. Confidence flowing. Mulhern goes left. Tuatavaki hampered and harried and stopped. Now it comes O'Brien. O'Brien up to the line. Out to that right-hand side. Amila Hanley can't find a way through because of all those bodies in cherry and white. And they've one last play to go. One last chance in this set. Lamb kicking in with hope more than any other reason. Liam Burr with the offload, and Field, that's why you'd offload in that position when you've got that fella there, but Leigh recover quickly.
Well, self-included, and a couple of the pundits before this game tipped the Leigh Leopards to drop out of the top 6, and I'll happily go back on my word off this performance tonight, but there's a long, long way to go. But so far, nothing splits between the champions and the Leopards.
You were one of those pundits, weren't you? Did you just admit to that?
I did, yes.
Yeah, good. Those are the games coming up this weekend, a weekend full. Don't forget, every single game, as it was last year, every single game live on Sky Sports this year, and the Bench podcast as well.
There's a chance on here.
Here comes Smith with a kick. He's looking for the corner. There's a couple of players injured. Davis is hurt, Thompson is hurt, one from either side.
And I think that's what Sam Burgess was referring to. There was a 4-on-3 there, but Harry Smith just wants to kick the ball into the corner and stick to the process, knowing that they'll get an opportunity inside the last 20 minutes of this game.
Stand to. Ball called, surrendered. Goal 2.
The HW Moonstones interchange for the Leigh Leopards, replacing number 15, Alex Sparky. He's an ace.
Well, it has been. If you were here for tries and celebrations and champagne rugby league, then you maybe not got that tonight. You'll get it as the year goes on, don't worry about that. But if you're here for just sheer endeavour, just physicality, ferocity, then you've got it all here. You really have. As Mulhern carts it forward again.
It's another big carry from Mulhern, and it's Lamb's turn now to hoist it high.
Field underneath it, safely gathered in. Marshall's there, looking for a way out. The chase again is good from Leigh. Fatigue levels have not figured. Everybody seems to be at the same level just at the moment.
Well, Dave, I'm thinking that there's, sometimes in round one you can be forgiven for people with skill to be off, and perhaps players quite not 100% in terms of game fitness. It is very different to training, of course, but both sides again completing still around 90%. I think it's been a war of attrition, this one.
Tom Forber's on the field, by the way. The young hooker has come on, so the only player we've not seen so far is Patrick Magar. So they've still got that card to deal. When fatigue does set in, He'll be the last player that Leigh will want to see coming off the bench. Because he can add some bounce, can't he? Kicked downfield and taken on by Armstrong. It's a patient waiting game by the coach before he introduces that X factor.
It could be a stroke of genius. Such a devastating ball carrier.
Liam Farrell's about to come back on, by the way.
I think Mago
is as well. Leigh, though, for the moment, still have the ball in their hands. There they are. They're one fresh as a daisy, the other one ruined a missed 10 minutes. Davis. O'Brien along to Ipape. This is Trout. Owen Trout. He's another who's an absolute Trojan for his side over the last season. Farrell's back on. Liam Farrell, so Wigan are back to 13. Lamb sticks it high. Marshall catches. Evades the first man coming his way, Ethan O'Neill, but not the next. And Patrick Mago comes on, and listen to that roar, because the Wigan fans know what he has the potential to do. He only scored 4 tries last year in all those appearances, but he can be a real disruptor down the middle, and this is his first carry. And Leigh have dealt with that problem, no problems.
Chopped him down.
Ellis. Here's Forber, looking left again, and Smith, and now Mago bouncing in, and again just taking a little extra energy out of that Leigh defence with what he does. Onto the last, Smith sticks it high, chased hard, and it's almost no man's land for Armstrong, but he put on a bit of a spurt to get there. And again the bravery.
Yeah, no, personified there. I thought he was just caught in between two minds. Just behind the wing, he didn't really look like he was keen to charge onto it. But he does well in the end, as so does Amila Hanley. Pinches a few more metres through the centre of the field.
Lachlan Lamb out of dummy half going left. Hughes angling back towards the right. And Sembers after him. And he ain't going to let go. Is it Pape? He switches his role throughout the games, doesn't he, when he comes on, whether he's at dummy half or a more central, bouncy, pivotal type role. Leigh working their way towards that halfway line. Where's it going, this one, Kyle?
Oh.
Who wins this? Go on. $64,000 question with 65 minutes play.
Look, again, there's nothing splitting between them, but we have to go towards the champions. They are the champions for a reason. Back-to-back titles. They find ways to win so often. But there really is nothing to split these two.
By the way, one man who's happy with this situation, Ian Proctor, our stat man, who's with us again this year. We always loved to see Proctors at the start of the year. Tells us we've never had a 0-0 game in Super League. We've had tryless games, but never a 0-0.
Well, records are there to be broken. We've got 13 minutes left on the clock. Cade Ellis, a flick on there. Risky. Wardle, here's the threat.
Oh, knock on, referee says. Went forward as it was batted wide. The referee had judged it to have gone forward. Liam Moore.
What do you want it, Leigh? What do you want, boys?
By the way, if Leigh don't score in the next 2.5 minutes, it will be 7 hours of Super League Rugby League since Wigan last conceded a try. That is ridiculous.
It is.
Ridiculous.
You know, we have mentioned it a couple of times, but it is a ridiculous. Well, you have. So, but it is a ridiculous stat. And of course, Leigh scored over 100 tries last season.
For every yin, there's a yang. And Leigh will rather fancy in this set. They could have a chance. 6 plays inside their opponent's half. And Hughes is
hasn't he come up with a couple of good carries in the last 10 minutes or so, Jack Hughes?
Here's New.
Two.
Holton.
Move! With a step now. Goal two.
Davis. And now Ipape, and Ipape into the heart of the defence, and O'Brien goes wide, and here's an opportunity, and Myler Hanley now tries to step back on the inside, but goes no further. What a season he had, by the way, Myler Hanley. Certainly the first half of the season last year with all those tries he scored. Ipape again.
Hold! Release! Goal four.
Davis. This is Trout who gets the pass away to Holton on this left-hand side, who has certainly taken some pain there. He says, play
switched
on,
off here.
And smartest to it is Liam Farrell. Leigh just lost their concentration.
Well, how big in the context of the game is that play going to be? From the man who was sat on the sidelines for 10 minutes. Jack Hughes, too focused on spraying Adam Kieran. And Liam Farrell just pounces on the loose ball.
A lot of frustration. Adrian Lamb and Chris Chester sitting next to each other, looking on. Head coach and head of football. What a job they've done in the last few years, by the way. Taking this club, this Leigh club, out of the Championship and the dream of winning at Wembley, and semi-final in the grand final last year. Last play, and just dribbled out of play. And that will take us to the 69-minute mark, and that is 7 hours now since Wigan last conceded a try. He'll be proud of that. He'll be very pleased with that. Just as an aside, looks rather his side got in a winning position at the moment, but that level of commitment to the defensive efforts is heroic.
Yeah, we've mentioned Wigan's defence, but also as well, Leigh, I think, got to give a special mention there to Ethan O'Neill, very relatively unknown, and he's done a great job, and Nsemba and that left edge of the Wigan Warriors. Yeah, he's had a fine defensive display this evening.
His mum and his grandma are here tonight, come from the other side of the world to just help him settle in. Julian, of course, his dad, as we mentioned before, former Wigan and Leigh player, witness, and London Broncos, of course. Little sprint out of dummy half from a man who can make things happen. Dwyer.
Oh, he's lost that
ball. Lost.
No.
Are we going to see another captain's challenge here?
Challenge. You want to challenge the call?
I think we are.
Yep.
Time off. Jack, we have a captain's challenge. Leigh are challenging the ruling of a knock-on, claiming there's been a ball steal.
He's on tackle 5. Leigh are challenging the ruling of a knock-on. Dwyer's in possession. This through a bit quicker. Tackle is complete now. See what happens with the ball. Can't see the ball at this point. Wigan players still in contact at this point. Still in possession at this point is Dwyer. We need something from the far side so we can see the ball, please. This side might be better, please. At this angle and back, please. Jacob Wardle is not trying to steal the ball. He is untangling himself from the ruck. The ball comes out as a result of Brad Dwyer pulling away. The challenge is unsuccessful.
So they're not had a good record on this so far, have we? And it just shows the referee knows what he's looking at. It's going to be another unsuccessful challenge. So that is it now. No more challenges. And that becomes crucial.
There's no pull, it's just the mechanics of the tackle.
That's the explanation. It becomes crucial in a try-scoring situation.
Yeah.
Because if a team feels they've been denied a try, neither of them can challenge the ruling now.
Both teams have no challenges remaining.
What? He doesn't believe it.
Well, he better believe it. Because they've lost the challenge again. He's lost the ball. And Adam Kieran does well there, just crosses over into Leigh's half. Into the final 10, Dave.
Fullback. Are we going to see the first 0-0 scoreline at the end of 80 minutes? Could still finish 0-0 because, of course, if golden point extra time is played through and there's still no score, then it stays at 0-0.
Well, I'm just wondering, at this part of the field, with still 3 players left to go, Mago going to try and get a quick one. At what point do the Warriors set up for the 1 point?
They're doing a job on Mago, aren't they? Because, again, Pape got right down his legs to stop his momentum. Here's Bevan French. Different prospect to stop, but equally well done.
I think they'll go 1 more in and then pull the trigger.
Last play. Smith goes left, Field further left. Oh, brilliant footwork there from Wardle to gain himself a little bit of extra space to work in, but just as good was Leigh's response to quickly get back around him to make sure nothing dangerous happened.
I thought they were going to set up for it. They decide to run it. The footwork from Wardle. But once again, the cover and defence from Leigh has been exceptional all evening. And it's all there and all evidence once more.
16 days to Vegas when Wigan play Warrington. There's a gamble to be made by one of these sides here tonight, maybe to get themselves across the finishing line and win this opening game of 2025. Stalemate so far. There's Trout.
Release him, free. Oh, play ball, mate. Goal free.
Ipape again, skipping, stepping, pushing forward. Has to take the tackle. 2 plays to go. Just hammered in by Mulhern. Edge of the seat stuff at the moment. Is either side going to break? Lamb's kick. Field's catch. Eckersley will carry. Leigh's defence. Arms and legs will be aching here. Lungs will be burning, but again they're up there to make the challenges that matter. This is Marshall.
Well, for whichever side, it's going to be a cruel, cruel way to lose if we are going to have a winner.
December. 2 coaches really have done their jobs tonight, haven't they? All the potential risks factored into game plans, and so far nullified.
There just hasn't been any space. Field and French and Wardle have all tried to catch defenders not moving through the middle of the field, and every single time the door's just been shut.
French ran late left there to try and drag numbers over there, but Ellis coming back found only too many numbers in his way. Smith again with that spin, huge spin, but again the catch is good from Armstrong.
I'll tell you what, he's been solid at the back as Armstrong. He's been tested with a variety of different kicks, some across the floor, some high and hanging and spiraling, and he's dealt with every single one of them.
6 minutes. In fact, less than that now. Bolton again, trying to get the arms free in amongst that tangle of bodies that wrap around him. Can't do so. O'Brien inside for a Pape. O'Brien lights it off again to O'Neill. A couple of plays left. Dwyer. There's a little run to Lamb. Holton, hips grabbed. Back to Lamb again. Too far out to even consider the 1-pointer. He has got history, of course, Adrian Lamb. 1-pointers on big occasions. That famous Wembley occasion from a couple of years ago.
Well, if they can aim up now...
Sorry, Lachlan Lamb, not Adrian Lamb.
If they can aim up defensively now, Dave, they'll have an opportunity to have some field position to potentially snatch it with a 1-pointer.
4.5 minutes to go. 1 point could win the game.
Well, that's 3 plays gone. We've only made 20 metres of the Warriors. Kid Ellis.
And now French. French sizing up the situation. Decides he can take on Robbie Mulhern, and Mulhern says, try all you like, but me and my mates will stop you going any further forward. Ellis, Smith and Semba coming in on the angle, looking for a gap, hitting his body hard at the defenders ahead of him. But again, too far out surely for a drop goal attempt here, although Smith's going to go for it and never gets it off the ground.
Oh, it's a horrible one. Lands straight in to the arms of Tessie New. Maybe 2 sets left apiece for both of them.
We are effectively in golden point now, aren't we, really?
Yeah.
You'd imagine that any kind of score wins the game from here. Not instantly just yet, but with time ticking out.
Well, either side are just looking for half an opportunity. Just look
inside for Lamb. Taken on again by O'Brien. Oh, they are edging closer. Another play here to try and put themselves in position. Back it comes for Liu. Offloads. Ipape picking up the pieces. Owen Trout now continues away forward. Well, he's got some ground. Has he got enough? That's the question.
Well, O'Brien. Oh,
I don't think they're thinking about the drop goal. Yes, they are. And Lamb has to dodge away because the defender's ahead of him. And now it's O'Brien's kick, and it's straight into the hands of Marshall. And Marshall pushes off a couple of defenders. His collar's tugged by Isaac Liu. Otherwise, that could have been something glorious from Wigan and disastrous from Leigh. But it's a great start to the set from Wigan's point of view.
Yeah, it sure is. Pape just decided to run it on the last. It was all made up. And it ends up with a horrible kick. Liam Marshall does ever so well. An important tackle from Lou. They've got 2 more players left here. Cade Ellis.
Ellis puts it back, and Smith, and now Nsemba, and Nsemba goes galloping through, offloads it to Leeming. Leeming throws it out. Bevan French looks to that right-hand side, pushes off Holson's attempted tackle, steps back on the inside, still going. Leeming's there. Leeming stumbles, carries on, and then with a whack, he's stopped in his tracks. But look where they are. Look where they are. And with tackles in the bag, Smith again throws it left. This now is Field's pass. It's Wardle on that left-hand side, but Leigh's defence again, absolutely heroic, hanging on. This could be the play. This could be the moment. Smith takes it in, puts the kick in, over the top. The hand is huge from Lamb. Suddenly gets there, then he's dropped on. It's a penalty, and with 90 seconds to go, that might have been Wigan's last chance. In normal time, do Leigh have another chance in there?
That is an enormous play there from Lachlan Lamb. I really thought Harry Smith was just going to take a stab at it. He had enough time, perhaps not the angle. He decides to lift the ball over towards the back rower. I think Liam Farrell's in for all money. Oh, I beg your pardon, it's Bevan French. But that right hand, just look at this. Oh, he comes up with a try-saver.
Well, that is a potential match saver, isn't it? Potential match saver.
And then the Warriors give away the penalty off the back of it. Well, we've got 1 minute and 2 seconds left on the clock. They'll need some purchase on this penalty.
Adam!
What's he thinking? Penny for his thoughts. What's he thinking? Penny for his thoughts, more pertinently.
Yeah. Mate, you've got the full body to aim at, and you make contact with the head. Now, there is mitigation, which brings it down from a red card to a yellow. But that is a yellow card, mate. There is mitigation.
End of the night. End of the night for Adam Kieran. Wigan will finish the game with only 12 players. But how will the game finish? That's the big question.
Lamb does ever so well. And Adam Kieran comes into the picture and catches him high. Liam Moore says there is mitigation. But effectively we'll see Adam Kieran sit out for the rest of this game almost. And so if he goes all the way to the final minute of golden point, we may see him again, but in all probability.
Well, the kick to touch gives Leigh a good starting position.
Well, here we go.
Never have we seen a 0-0 scoreline in Super League. On the opening night of 2025, is this going to be a first? Or can Leigh find some magic in what remains?
We saw Gareth O'Brien come up with some clutch moments. You think back to the £1 million game and that huge boot, he's going to probably have to rely on that. They're edging closer.
Tackle count is important here. 3 down, 2 drives and a kick to come. You'd think, unless they can find a route through. Using hands, Holton.
Well, they need to get back towards the middle of the field.
Leigh are marshalling this position. They know where they want to be. Robbie Mulhern driving in. It was his drive in that cup final those years ago.
Well, he improves the angle.
The platform. Has he done something similar? Hooter sounds in the background. Picked up by Apape. Oh, he's not played it before the hooter sounded. What's the referee doing here?
Captain's boys.
I think the hooter sounded. Yeah, that is officially the end of the game, or the end of the normal time. We're into golden point extra time, Kyle. What a way to start 25. Here we go, golden point extra time. What a build-up we had tonight. We were not expecting a rumble quite like this, were we? But 0-0, and it's a game that has been absolutely full of talking points, if not actual points. And now we have golden point, and Wigan have first possession. The 4th official is timing this and will be giving the referee that time in his ear. That's how this is being worked. And Wigan now, just both sides, just have to concentrate on what they do.
Yeah, that's it. And they're just going to have to carry this ball as hard as they possibly can just to try and get away from their own line. And Samba dealt with again and take a short side through. Waddle's away.
Well, he has been one on a night bereft of too many chances. He has been one who's looked dangerous. Certainly been a couple on the Leigh side as well. Ellis takes it in. You have the advantage of the clock back home watching on the screens. Wigan reached the last. Smith decides it's not a conducive angle for the kick at goal. And it's taken well by Marshall. Back it goes. Ball, though, is taken away by Hanley, and Leigh have it back. Harum-scarum moments, but Leigh survived that, and that's first chance Wigan gone. Leigh now have opportunity with them with ball in hand.
Yeah, but just look how far that the Warriors are able to get up to the other end of the field, almost 85 metres in that full set. And now it's Leigh who are tasked with carrying this ball away. Frankie Holton now. He's met there by Ellis and Lehman. Thompson in there too.
All that delay we had, it's very nearly 8 hours since Wigan last conceded a try, by the way. Here come Leigh now, making their way forward in the shape of Trout. Missed the first game last year because of injury. Ever present after that. Oh, they played the ball, that was dangerous, because Ipapi was on the wrong side of it. In fact, if he picked it up, it would have been a penalty, because he was in front of the play the ball. Anyway, Leigh carry on. This is a good range finder by Hughes. And there's still a play to go to find position. Lamb puts it back on the inside. Oh, and this now is Armstrong. And this is prime position. O'Brien's in place. O'Brien on the right foot with a drop goal. The Leigh fans reach for the skies. And what a moment. And what a win. It has taken 82 minutes for the first point of the Super League season. But it comes in dramatic circumstances, and it's a match-winning moment. Gareth O'Brien kicks it through the sticks. A man with history in that department, having saved Salford's life in the Golden Point game against Hulkinson Rovers all those years ago, gets 2025 off with a bang.
He certainly does, Dave. And it's the first time that the Leopards have won at Wigan since 1983. Adrian Lam has had 7 attempts to win at this ground as a coach. The Gareth O'Brien boot makes it 8-time lucky for Lam as a head coach. Oh, what a great way to end, what a great way to open 2025.
42 years since Leigh last won at Wigan. O'Brien's boot rewrites history. What a night when we We've celebrated defence, but we've also celebrated the ultimate drama. You've never heard this scoreline in Super League before. Wigan 0, Leigh 1, and that's how it's finished.